What is going on, guys? I am Badass Reviewer, and I am back with another Marvel Legends review. This time I'm taking a look at the Marvel Legends Sinister Six, or Urban Legends, or Mcfarlane Spider-Man, or Spider-Man Classic Spider-Man, or whatever you want to call this figure. This is the, well, I guess it's regarded as one of the best Spider-Man figures, or best Marvel Legend figure of all time. You know, that's just some people's opinion. It might be fact, considering how this is probably one of the coolest figures in the world. Well, just to Marvel Legends. In terms of Marvel Legends it is, but yeah, really incredible figure. It really sucks though, because it's probably one of the hardest figures to get if you didn't pick him up back when he came out, or if you want a really good Spider-Man, because this is a really awesome one. I don't know if this is the Hasbro or the Toy Biz release. Let me look at his foot. You know, it should say, and I've seen it before, I just don't remember. I think this is the Spider-Man Classics version that came out by Hasbro. Anyways, if it's not, it's pretty much the same figure, except I'm pretty sure this is the street sign one that came out through Toy Biz Spider-Man Classics. I don't really know, but I just know that this is a really awesome figure. I got this off of eBay. It was about 50 bucks, I think. The guy had, I guess, painted over the original figure to give it a more darker hue to him, which actually looks really nice. I mean, even if it was painted over, which I can't really even tell that it was painted over, it just looks like this is how the figure was painted by Hasbro or Toy Biz. Probably Toy Biz, because Hasbro couldn't paint something like this so spectacularly. But it does look very nice with this darker color. You can just see all this awesome shading going on, all the definition in his or the detail and the definition of his body. I mean, look at that. That is just damn sexy. I just love it a lot. And I mean, it's throughout the entire figure, and it's really just amazing. I do like the head sculpt a lot. I prefer to have him with these huge eyeballs, or with the huge eyes. Now, I don't know, it's strange to me, because it seems like this should be the Mcfarlane looking one, but I can't really tell. It seems like his eyes are a bit spaced out a little too much, and maybe a little bit down. I'd rather have them up and closer together a little bit, but you know, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to a figure like this. But you know, it's okay to me. It's still pretty good. All of this, the webbing and stuff on his body, all sculpted on. Nothing painted here, except for the colors, obviously, but all sculpted on, which is awesome. The spider on his back is, I think, is sculpted into his back, but you can't really feel the texture of it. So that's that. This is sculpted on too as well. So yeah, anywhere where there's spider webs, that's all sculpted. It's just really awesome. The articulation is just as great as the way this figure looks, and how you know, just how dynamic it is. I really wish Hasbro could you know, have a mold for Spider-Man that was nearly as good as this. I mean, they use that Punisher, or not Punisher, the Bullseye body for all their new Spider-Mans, which I think just suck. I think the only other good Spider-Man figure there is the Black Suit Spider-Man from the Red Hulk series. I wish they would give him that exact same articulation and with the same proportions as that Spider-Man, because all the new ones, they have these huge heads, huge hands, and one of them's in a flipping pose and the other one's in a fist. It just really looks crappy, and you can't really get the lankiness of Peter Parker, and you can't really get the height of him unless you do something new and stuff. And granted, this is a bit of a tall figure for being Spider-Man. Let me see, who do I have? We have, well, better yet, I actually have this Deadpool figure here. this is the body they have been using for the new Spider-Man figures. I mean, it's basically the same body, even though this is for Deadpool, but you know, it's using the same buck. He's not completely standing up straight, but when you have him up against Deadpool, you can clearly see that Spider-Man is towering over Deadpool. So that kind of sucks. I mean, if he was a little bit shorter, that'd be great, but I guess the proportions are good enough, so that way it's not like he has huge long arms and small stumpy legs or something like that. I think it's pretty good in proportion. He's just a little too tall. Now that we've gone over detail, I want to grade it, which I usually do and don't do sometimes, so I know it seems like I should grade all my figures, but I don't. But I'm gonna have to say that the paint on this, whether it be you know, custom or how it was actually done, it's amazing. I give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, there are some you know, some of the lines don't match up and stuff, but you know, when you've done something like this, it's still great. I mean, a few things here and there, at least it couldn't be any worse. I mean, at least it's not terrible. It's just one little thing, and that's on his head, but no big deal. But let's go over articulation. Best part about this figure, because you know, you can get him in all those cool Spider-Man poses. His head is on a swivel and ball joint, if you want to call it. Not really a ball joint. His head is like basically a peg with a swivel, so it can look up all the way. Awesome. He can look down, rotate 360 degrees. He goes in and out at the shoulder, rotates at the shoulder 360 degrees. He rotates 360 degrees at the bicep here. Double jointed elbows, rotation at the glove here. He has a wrist swivel, individual finger articulation, so you know, he can do weird things like that, or he could do the flipping, chipping, and ripping pose, however you want to pronounce it. Bam, there he goes. Now he's shooting webs. Come down to his torso. His torso can go forward and back. Sculpting going on all the way up into the very end of that there thingamajig. I couldn't think of it. It's completely sculpted all the way up inside of the torso, so even when you get them all the way back, bam, they're still webbing. Just a great attention to detail. And I try to be really fragile, or like careful with this figure, because you know, when you get fragile figures that are like expensive or anything, and they feel like they're pretty tight on joints, you want to keep them that way, but you also want to make sure you don't break it. So he rotates at the waist here. He's got ball jointed legs, so they can go forward, they can go back, they can go in and out. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh here. Bends at 2 points at the knee. Rotates at the boot, or the top of his calf, if that's what you want to call it. Not the calf. Wherever his shin, or whatever you want to call it. Basically right here. You guys get it. And then he has a bend in the foot, like that. He has toe articulation and an ankle pivot. And then peg holes on the bottom of his feet. So, awesome figure. Nothing could ever, you know, Spider-Man figure-wise could ever beat this. I mean, Hasbro could come out with something new, which I hope they do. I really hope that they could make something that was just as good as this, if not better, but I just don't see it happening. The next time we're going to see any Spider-Man figures is going to be in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie line, which it seems like they're giving out a lot more Ultimate figures than Amazing Spider-Man type characters, so it's a little strange because they got the Ultimate Firefly and Green Goblin. It's really weird, but we'll see what happens. I really don't think they'll ever make anything better than this figure, but you know, things can happen and we'll just have to wait and see. But if you guys enjoyed my video, please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Check out my channel for other awesome reviews, and you guys stay classy. So long.